Think for a minute about the heartfelt comment on your last post. You know, the one that made your day. What about the guy that your post triggered? You know, the one who pulled you into like this heated debate and kept you glued to the screen for like an hour. You realized so much time had passed and you hadn't made any headway. Now imagine this. What if neither of those interactions were real? What if that comment, that debate, that whole connection was generated by AI? You're scrolling through your favorite social media app, sharing posts, commenting, engaging like always. But what if you discovered that most of the users you're interacting with aren't even real? They're AI-generated bots with unique profiles, posts, and even backstories. Would it matter? Would the platform still feel the same to you? Hold that thought. Because today we're going to take a deep dive into identity, reality, and the age-old question, what makes something real? Welcome back to the Deep Gripping Reality. I'm your host, Steve, and today I'm really excited about this deep dive because it's very, very relevant to things that are happening right now on social media. So let's set the stage with a classic thought experiment, the ship of Theseus. Now, some of you might already know this one, and for others it might be brand new, but either way, stick with me. I promise it's worth it. I'll keep it brief. Imagine Theseus's wooden ship. It's a sturdy vessel that's seen its fair share of wear and tear over the years. So to keep it seaworthy, the crew starts replacing old and rotting planks one by one. Over time, they end up replacing the nails, the sails, and even the rudder. So eventually, every single piece of this ship has either been swiped out or completely replaced with new ones. Not a splinter of the original remains. It's all been rebuilt. So here's the million-dollar question. Is it still the same ship? Now let's take that a step further. What if somebody gathered all that old wood and discarded planks and parts and used them to build another ship and then called that one Theseus? So now there's two ships. So which one's the real ship of Theseus? It's a timeless paradox that challenges us to think about identity on a much deeper level. Is it the parts that make something real, or is it something less tangible, something deeper? What do you think? Does the identity of something change if part of it is replaced? Comment below and let me know your thoughts. I'm really looking forward to reading them on this. Now let's fast forward from ancient Greece to the digital age we live in today. The idea of replacing parts and questioning identity has never been more relevant than it is in today's society. Take Meta, for example. They recently announced plans to introduce millions of generative AI characters onto their platforms like Facebook and Instagram. But these aren't your average bots. No. They'll have unique bios, profile pictures, and post entire digital personalities that are crafted specifically to engage with you. And you might be thinking, why? The answer's simple. To keep you scrolling, keep you liking, keep you commenting, and keep you engaged. The purpose is to make the platform feel live, even if that life is artificial. Because you see, the longer that you stay, the more ads you see and the more revenue they make. It's ironic though, because Facebook appears to be making this move to improve the user experience and keep people on it for longer, but perhaps the real question is, would advertisers really want to spend their budget on a platform full of bots, none of which buy their product or service? But here's where it really gets wild. So unlike the overhyped promise of the metaverse, which I was 100% on board with, my bad, I was wrong, right? Other than that, this isn't just some proof of concept from some futuristic Zuck reality, right? No, it's already happening and it's working. And Meta isn't alone. So there's this new app, it's called Social.ai. And what it does is it lets users interact with millions of AI-generated profiles, and it creates a social experience that feels personal and engaging and even intimate. So you can have an infinite number of followers, you can have endless comments, you can have a whole digital world, a whole digital social media platform where you're the star, and you feel like what you're sharing, your thoughts, your feelings are seen and heard. You're the star of your very own digital Truman Show, if you will. But here's the truth, none of it is real. Just like in the Truman Show, In this case, you're essentially the captain of your own ship of Theseus, but every part, every profile, every interaction is synthetic. The bottom line is this: AI is becoming an inseparable part of our online lives, but how far is too far? This brings us to what I'm calling the content of Theseus paradox. Just like the ship, social media platforms are undergoing a transformation. If platforms like Instagram and Facebook replace human users with AI over time, are they really still the same platforms? Let's break it down. So first of all, we have to look at continuity, right? The platform still looks and feels the same, maybe even better. Thanks to the AI bots having the ability to keep it alive and keep the vibe rolling 24/7, you can get up in the middle of the night, you got some insomnia, pop on there, talk to people. But is it the same if the heart of it, the real human interactions, is replaced with algorithms? Then there's authenticity, okay? Social media thrives on the idea of connecting with people and creating content that'll connect with people. But when those connections are with bots, doesn't that experience kind of lose its value? If your followers and your likes and your comments are all AI generated, does it feel meaningful? Finally, there's identity. So social media obviously isn't just about sharing. It's about being a part of a community. But if that community becomes mostly artificial, is it even still a community, or is it just an illusion? These questions don't have easy answers. For some, the idea of an AI-driven platform feels exciting. It's a way to make social media feel alive and vibrant, something new, something novel. Even in its quieter moments, there's something to do. But for others, it's unsettling. It's a shift away from what makes social media, well, social. Now let's dive even deeper. I believe that the last 5 years have marked what I like to call the era of AI. In a relatively short time, AI quickly became integrated into most of our workflows, myself included. It reminds me of a time back in mid-2021 when I was a much younger Steve. I was working at a web development and digital marketing firm. And back then, SEO strategies, which stands for search engine optimization for those who don't know, but they relied heavily on writing keyword-rich blog content. It wasn't necessarily about quality so much as it was about just getting really good keywords in context, right? It was a really time-consuming process. It required a lot of research, a lot of custom content, and it required a really specific skill set, because you can take a copywriter, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a good SEO copywriter, and vice versa. So imagine my excitement when I stumbled across this program called Copy.ai. It was the first, actually one of the very first AI tools that I'd ever used, and it promised to revolutionize SEO copywriting by generating articles with just a few prompts. And of course, this was before tools like ChatGPT were a household name and made headlines. And honestly, the outputs were garbage. This is early AI, early copy AI, right? It was a fantastic brainstorming tool, great for coming up with bullet points and outlines. I saw it for what it was. I thought it was an amazing tool, and frankly, I thought it was a game changer. I thought it was the beginning of something huge. So I brought it to my boss. I was really eager to share this bleeding edge technology with him. And I told him that we had to be at the forefront of this. It would help our clients, it would help us make more money. But his response,
don't use it.
He took one look at the messy first drafts it popped out and dismissed the idea entirely. In fact, he said,
AI will never replace real flesh and blood SEO copywriters.
Now, fast forward a few years, and AI tools are not only doing that kind of thing, they're doing things we never imagined back then. The same boss actually recently called me and apologized and admitted I was right. I guess I've always been ahead of my time. But the fascinating thing about AI is just that. I mean, it starts clunky and imperfect, but much like humans, it evolves. The difference is it evolves much faster than we expect. Today, AI is not just punching out outlines and crappy first drafts. It generates entire newsworthy articles and images. All the humans have to do is ask, a couple reviews maybe, and then copy and paste. I mean, the next logical step is full-on automation, which is coming soon if it's not already here. AI systems continue to learn from past content and feedback loops. They self-edit, they evolve, they improve the style to meet whatever goals you've set for them and produce really higher quality content autonomously. That's what I see the next steps being. So now, here's for the real questions, the real head scratchers, the real thought-provoking stuff. At what point does AI stop being a tool and become a creator? Is it when the human input's no longer required? When that day comes, who gets the credit? It was trained on human content, so is the content still considered human generated? Or is it AI generated at this point? At what point does that distinction occur? Does the author's identity even matter? If the output remains the same or the quality is even better and improves, and your audience can't tell the difference, does it matter? That's another question that you can debate. In fact, here's a good question that you can debate in the comments sections. Would you stay on a platform if you knew most of the interactions were not real? So here we are navigating the content of Theseus paradox in real time. As AI becomes more integrated into our digital lives, we're left asking, does it matter if the interactions that we're having online are real or artificial, as long as they make us feel connected? Or are we gradually swapping out the planks of our digital ships until we no longer recognize what we've built? What do you think? Is AI-enhanced social media the next evolution, or does it cross a line? Let me know your thoughts. Comment, share this podcast, or even start a conversation on social media. Unless, of course, you're an AI bot. This has been The Deep Gripping Reality. I'm your host, Steve. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and as always, dig deep, my friends. I'll see you next time.